A fitness band for less than a fancy dinner? Let's check this out. Dave Taylor here, and I have a really cool device on my wrist right now. Let me take it off and tell you about it. This is the Xiaomi Mi Smart Band 4. So this is the 4th generation of their little sports and fitness tracking smart band. Now, you can wear it as a watch, but it does a whole lot more. In fact, when you've been watching these ads for like the Apple Watch and thinking, that's so cool, but $400? Yikes. This is insanely less expensive. Now, it's not the same device, but from a tracking and monitoring perspective, it's pretty impressive. It's a fitness tracker, heart rate monitor, sleep monitor. You can categorize sports. You can even wear it and use it to track when you're swimming. How cool is that? Now, the screen is pretty tiny. You can see there, it's literally a 0.95-inch AMO LED display that's at 120 by 240 pixels. That's small. But you know what? It's big enough. When you're wearing it on your wrist, you can still see the time. You can get a status of how many steps you've taken today. You can quick pop over and look at your heart rate, stuff like that. Let's go ahead and I'll just jump in and show you real quick. And you'll also get to see here that the interface is a little confusing in terms of taps and swipes. Over time, you sort of master all that, but it is still pretty darn easy to work with. Now, the band is a hypoallergenic thermoplastic elastomer, and you can get different bands if you think that this is a little boring. It comes in a couple other colors, but it is pretty boring. But here's the thing that's a little bit weird, is that the center part of this actually pops out. It's a little tricky to get there, but it pops out. Here we go. And then that's the device, right? So it's this little tiny thing, really like a long capsule, and happen to have in my pocket. Here's the charging unit. So you take it out, you plug it into the charging unit that's included, and then you just plug it into any old USB to charge. And the battery life on this is crazy. It's 20 days on a charge, which means once you charge this thing, once you charge this thing, you really don't have to worry about it for weeks and weeks. So I'll pick that up in a second. Sorry, guys. I'm going to put it back in the band because it's just a really cool little device. Now, it has a 3-axis accelerometer, a 3-axis gyroscope, a proximity sensor, and a PPG heart rate sensor. So if you're looking for information like how is my heart doing or what's it like when I sleep, all of that's available, and it syncs via low-power Bluetooth 5.0 with your phone. So on my phone, happen to have that in my pocket too, on my phone there's an app, and in the app you can see all that data, and it actually synchronizes with, at least on the iPhone, it synchronizes with Apple Fitness, so you can collect all that data, and as necessary you might be able to give it to your doctor or something so they can see, here's how I work out, here's my resting heart rate, here's what I do on weekends, all that sort of stuff, here's my sleep patterns, I get this much sleep and this much is analyzed to be deep. Now, all of that sort of stuff, I'm not exactly sure how precise and accurate it is, but it's good data because it's better than having nothing. And really high-end equipment that monitors all that is obviously really expensive. So, put my phone back away. Now that you've seen those screens, let's see, what else can I tell you about this other than, let's go back. I still find the interface a little confusing. Let's see, come on, there we go. So there we go, we're back to the regular display. And on the back, it's interesting, that's how it does the heart rate sensing. So it really, really wants to be on my wrist so it can analyze my heart rate. So I'll put it back on my wrist, and it's super easy to work with. You just thread the sort of rubber through the hole, and then there's a ton of holes all the way along the side, so it can get really small or really big depending on how big your wrist is. We interrupt this video to highlight that the Smart Band 4 also has notifications just like a fancy smartwatch. So you can get text messages, notifications of phone calls, email coming in, messages from WhatsApp. It's all controlled here in the app. There's a ton of different things you can set up. And then the notifications vibrate and show up right there on that tiny screen. Very cool. Now, back to the regular video. It's also 5 atmospheres waterproof, which means you can dive down to like 165 feet and this thing's still going to work. Probably you're not going to wear it as a diver. You'll probably have a dive watch because there's additional data that's useful for you to know. But if you're swimming, you're at the beach or something, this is perfectly fine. If you're in a rainstorm or you're skiing and you fall down and your arm gets covered in snow, no problem. It can totally handle that. So I really like it. It's really simple. It's at a ridiculously low price. This is something you can give to your kids if you want to see how much activity they're getting. It is really fun to try to close the loop, as people say in the Apple Watch community. You know, get that quota, get that number of steps in every day, and that by itself can be really beneficial for your health. So, totally a reasonable choice. Now, before I tell you the price, before we get there, let me ask if you can subscribe to my channel. I get a lot of gear. I'm totally honest about what I have and how it works and what I like and don't like. So, subscribe and we can stay friends. Good. Now, this is the Xiaomi Mi Smart Band 4, and it's $39.99 at Amazon.com. Now, usually it's more expensive than that, but when I just went and looked, they have it on a special sale, and that's a killer price, 40 bucks. That's, again, like a nice dinner for two, and now you can collect all this data and be happy and healthy and sleep well and all of these other great benefits, and actually probably figure out all the different swipes. It's really kind of like Snapchat, where you just have to sort of figure out where am I going, what's going to happen, and then it works great. It also wakes on tilt, so all I have to do is tilt my wrist, and now I can see it without having to do any interaction. That's one of the many, many, many settings you can get to in the app. So, totally worth checking out. I'm a fan. I'm going to continue to wear it, which means I'll catch you in my next video.